Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Ferdifert and welcome to another episode of Sembang Panas.
Ini Sembang Panas. Ini Sembang Panas. Ini Sembang apa? Ini Sembang Panas. Ini Sembang.
Actually, there's an interesting topic that brought up to the parliament. It's about the black and white houses that is rented by two of our ministers. So, do people know about it? Let's find out at the streets.
No.
I heard of it, but not that much.
Not really, no.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I think I've heard about it recently. From what I understand, that it was brought up in Parliament to question like why are ministers staying there and renting it for such high prices, but at the same time they have ownership of property elsewhere.
Ada juga.
I mean, I'm not affected yet because I'm not in that class or whatsoever. But I think those that can afford those houses may find like some issues with that, because if they can buy it, then I don't see what's the problem. But then if when the government is renting it out for their own purposes, like to earn their own income, then I think there's something wrong with that.
I think generally I wasn't affected by it. I don't think it really affects Singaporean much unless there was anything wrong that was done lah.
I think when this thing came to light, there'll be a lot of Singaporeans wondering like, well, because these ministers, they're all paid quite well, and it's usually paid by taxpayers' money. So it does pose a question of how their salary is being used, whether is it used in the correct way or it's like in a corrupt way.
I think personally I feel it has not affected me in any ways, but I also believe that it might affect some other people, probably those who are staying in landed or so on and so forth. But concurrently, I believe the majority will not be as affected per se.
Maybe it's for the opposition to gain advantages because they know that this issue is a problem. So they probably want to macam gain advantages. They want to macam like win favor.
To gain an advantage over them in court or something. I'm not sure about politically.
I believe there is some rivalry between those opposition and so on, but I believe everybody's just trying to make the place Singapore better.
I think the opposition might have thought that there might have been something wrong. They might have done something wrong, but I don't think they found out about anything lah. They found anything.
I think it boils down to accountability. The opposition's party, they were voted in by people who lost trust or lost faith in the major governing body. So they have to be accountable to those people that voted them in to represent them in Parliament, to ask the tough questions. And these opposition parties, they are also there to keep the other ministers accountable as well, whether or not like their practices are corrupt or their practices are well-founded.
Kalau orang di sini orang takut lah.
I think they'll be fickle-minded because this sort of thing is very self-centered around the government. Like, to the citizens, it may seem that the government might not care about them.
I think a little bit of both, but like I say, I think the majority would. It does not affect us in any way, per se. But if there is a case where it becomes a bigger case where everybody's doing it, everyone in the government who is actually doing it, probably there will be a lot of issues for those who are actually buying properties and who can afford actual properties. So the trust might vary.
I think since the results has been out and then I don't think they did anything wrong, so I think people are at ease lah.
I mean, like there'll always be two sides to the story. There's always be two groups of people. There will be people like me who will be glad that there are people asking the tough questions and keeping everybody, all the ministers accountable. But there will also be the people that those naysayers that will say bad things about the ministers, saying that they are spending our CPF money, this and that. So I think you need to decide how you want to look at things, the perspective, and also decide whether or not you want to be really affected by it with whatever information that you already have in hand lah. Then you need to decide how you want to react to it.
Alright guys, so that is all for this episode. So before we go, why do you think that this issue was brought up by the opposition in the first place? Let us know in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next episode of Sembang Panas. Let's go!
Ini sembang panas. Ini sembang panas. Ini sembang apa? Ini sembang panas. Ini sembang